Hi, I'm Johanna van Rooyen, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell if you would like a notification for when we release our new videos. In the studio with me, I have our Chief Economist, Willie Pelser. Welcome, Willie.
Thank you, Johanna. Chief economist, yeah.
Yes. So this week we had our inflation data for April that came out, and it was higher, but it was expected to be higher. What caused this increase, and what are the implications?
Yeah, Johanna. I think this was an anticipated, long anticipated impact that we were waiting for, because when the war started and the oil price shot through the roof, everybody had the inflation problem on the front page of newspapers and so on. So yes, just to take into account, before I get to the number specifically, the first impact for us came through petrol. So the anticipation into this number was people wanted to know, what was the petrol price impact. So the number came in at 4%, and that's a year-on-year number. And then the previous one was 3.1. So to put it into perspective, the Reserve Bank is trying to aim for a 3% sort of average inflation, and now suddenly we're at 4. So yes, we got a bit of a fright in the sense of the fall, but it came in exactly as people have expected. Now, on the back of that whole number, there's a lot of stuff in that basket. Now, we've mentioned petrol. There's there's a pumpkin in that basket. There's other stuff in there. There's rent. There's education, and all of those type of things. So the main culprit here was definitely petrol. And to put it into context, in April we had the first substantial petrol price increase. It was about 14% change just in the month. And then in May, which is not in the numbers here, it was another. Diesel was sort of 20% up. So the impact was definitely from there. Now the pumpkin, the reason I put the pumpkin in, because the other concern is food. And the food was actually 0.8% up, if I remember my number correctly. So food is not there yet. So the question is actually, where are we going with this inflation? Because yes, what has happened? The petrol price impact is there. It's the second round effect, and that's the issue. Is what are we doing with the petrol price increases? What are the retailers going to do? What is the next frontier going to do in price increases, and how long will it last? So I think that's a wait and see attitude, sort of a thing to follow in the months to come, to see where is the secondary impact coming from. So.
And always the next question then, following an increase in inflation, what is the market pricing in about interest rate hikes? What will the Reserve Bank do on the 28th? And then also, what are you penciling in?
Okay. I think the first thing to look at is to say, yes, the bank will definitely hike, because we're now at a 4% inflation and they want 3%. So if you just do that simple calc and say, yes, they're going to hike. The question always in the meeting is, what is the pass-through effect? What is the impact of the secondary? What they'll have to sit with and consider and say, is this a short-term phenomenon, or are we going to be for an extended period of time away from the targeted level type of thing? So I think the Reserve Bank has a difficult meeting coming up. I do think they will hike by 25 basis points, sort of in sympathy with the rest of the world, plus to try and kill that impact of the second round effect. So I've been on a page for a long time that if we consider the state of the economy, the growth in the economy, if we hike interest rates, we will kill the impact of what we're looking for, and that is GDP growth and job creation and all of those type of things. So, but if we have to fight inflation first, then probably coming up, and I've penciled in, the Reserve Bank will do the 25. I think it's going to be a serious split vote. I don't think everybody will be on the same page. Again, that's when we watch the Fed's minutes, we will watch this minutes to see, okay, who voted yes and who voted no, and see the odds on that. So, but I think brace for us as consumers, for us as citizens, is brace for the impact of the high inflation, and brace for the impact of another rate hike. What's happening thereafter, I think in another month's time we can talk about that. So.
Yeah, and we actually see with the consumer, we had a Debt Buster webinar a little while ago, and the consumer is still under pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got their purchasing power has decreased by 45% if you compare their wage increase in the last decade compared to inflation. And in that inflation number, electricity, petrol, food, they're just not keeping up, and they're actually turning to credit to supplement just purchasing essentials.
Yeah, Jana, I think that's a phenomenon in this economy at the moment, is people are trading down. And we see, the last 3 years we've actually seen it. You've experienced it, in the informal economy. People are trading down to the spaza shop. They're trading down to their local sort of restaurant for local sort of restaurant environment. In the mid-tier, you see people downscaling in a sense of how often you eat out. Now it's a case of where do you eat out, and more specifically, are you eating out? Just as an example. So it comes back to that basket in the inflation thing, is the consumer is cutting down in various aspects. And as you highlighted on that Debt Busters principle, so just to put it in context, Debt Busters are helping people to come out of debt. But they built their own database. They've got a lot of data that they look at as to what is the state, what is the impact. The South African consumer is definitely suffering, and is suffering by the day. And hopefully inflation is just a short-term phenomenon, and that we can get back on par on interest rates.
Well, taking into consideration the inflation increasing and the possible interest rates that are hiking, how are we positioning our portfolios?
Yeah, always a good question. So if you just think logically, we shouldn't have any exposure to retailers. But as we've just mentioned, people are trading down. So Boxer had some excellent results as an example. You see it in that value retailers. That's where people go. You don't go to your line shop to do your, I'm talking men's clothing now as an example. So you rather go to a Mr. Price, or you go to a local sort of manufacturer of whatever clothing type of thing. So the trading down principle is definitely happening. Debt Busters was, they give us an indication on that as well, that people are rolling the cents, to be able to afford lifestyle or just survival.
So it looks like everything is increasing. The only thing that's not increasing is the consumer's breathing room. But thank you for the insight, Willie, and thank you for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.